Thanks for joining me in this video. Today I'm going to speak about a very important therapy. A few days back I recorded a video on scramble therapy. So today it is my duty to explain about Swish pattern, another neuro-linguistic programming. I just took notes on how the Swish pattern has evolved on the modern day basis. So I thought of sharing all that in this particular video. Swish pattern happens to be a very good pain remover. If you could see in the scramble pattern therapy, we saw how we can take our past memories out. As far as Swish pattern is concerned, we can use this therapy for changing a particular habit or develop ourselves towards a particular skill. As far as developing in a skill is concerned, a person has to take a lot of consistent efforts for developing in the skill. Leave alone the consistent steps and efforts taken for developing the skill. But any skill is going to be habitualized into you only when you are taming and conditioning your mind in order to understand the skill on a complete basis. Let's say, for example, if a person wants to be a professional acumen, if the person wants to be a very good presenter in the public speaking environment, or a person wants to be a very good project manager in the company enterprises, in a corporate environment, all these people have got some streamlined kinds of efforts put into their life in order to make all these things possible. But the point is, if the focus is not right, then the result is not going to be on a tangible basis as they are expecting. So this is where Swish pattern comes into play. And also a person who wants to change a certain behavior and the person is not able to even think of getting out of the behavior, I think Swish pattern will certainly be a very good profound solution for that person. And today is November 22nd and I would like to bring another similar neuro-linguistic programming therapy called as the Swish pattern. Swish, S-W-I-S-H, which clearly means switching one picture to the another. So many of us are really struggling to get out of one particular syntax that we are all stuck up with. Sometimes we are stuck up with a particular behavior and we are not able to cope up with the behavior. Either we are not able to cope up with the behavior or we are not able to, snap out of the behavior. Swish pattern is one particular therapy that will definitely take you out of that old behavior. Let's say, for example, if you are a very short-tempered person and if you have this anger completely out of your control, or if you've got the jealousy completely out of control, sometimes you are really finding it so difficult to digest the other people's growth and stuff, and you're not able to get out of that particular weakness. And sometimes you are feeling very insecure, looking at the current state of the nation, looking at your career growth, you're not very much okay with what is happening inside your life, and you're not pretty much okay with what is happening with your career, so you basically feel some insecure feeling. All these are kinds of, disempowering emotions that we are experiencing, and a real master, a real leader today in 21st century, that too in a country like India, is the one who has got complete control over the disempowering emotions. If not able to convert the disempowering emotions into empowering emotions, the person should at least have the tendency of, handling the disempowering emotions or defending disempowering emotions from causing too much of damage. So that's what I feel. So that's where I would like to introduce you to Swish pattern. Now you're going to see a small video clip in which a person is in the office and his daughter comes into the office and she wants to talk to her father, and the father shouts at the daughter stating that this is not an appropriate time to speak, just get out, he says. Here, if you see in this particular video, the person wants to be a little bit soft to his daughter, but unfortunately, being a very, very short-tempered person, the person is not able to give a proper response to the daughter. There, the person feels that he could have been a little sweeter to his daughter, but he was very harsh. So instantaneously, the person has got a different flip image into his mind that I should have behaved with my daughter in this way, right? So basic behavior, the instantaneous, spontaneous behavior is behavior number one. And the behavior that he desires to show to his daughter is behavior number 2. Okay, so let us assume like that. Now, let me first of all invite you to watch behavior number 1, where he is very angry with his daughter, and the response when the daughter says that I want to talk to you is not quite okay. Have a look at this.
Daddy, can I please talk to you?
How many times have I told you not to come in here when I'm busy? Now, will you please just get out of here?
Did you see the way he behaved? Clenching the jaw. How many times I have asked you not to come when I'm busy? Likewise, see, this is a kind of an instantaneous and spontaneous reaction of the father. But the father had a different kind of an inclination in his mind. I should have behaved in this way to my daughter. What was his imagination of behavior? You see that also. Come on, have a look at it.
Daddy, can I please talk to you?
Look, sweetheart, give Daddy 5 minutes to finish up in here, and then I'll give you all the time you want, okay?
There you go. An angry face, a smiley face. So, can you relate this with your life? That's the way I always behave with my children. If you say that, then we need to have a serious discussion. So sometimes we are spontaneously driven. The impulse reaction happens just in a snap of a time, and we shout at people. So this is where the therapy called as Swish pattern is going to play a vital role. Okay. So now, since you have seen this kind of a tiny footage, I would like to demonstrate Swish pattern with this example itself. Now, you have understood that there are 2 behaviors, right? Behavior number 1, where he showed his angry face to his daughter. Behavior number 2 is where he showed a kind of a smiley face and being so nicer to the daughter. So let's say behavior number 1 is the angered face, just like what you are seeing here. Behavior number 2 is that smiley face. All right. So 2 distinct behaviors, behavior number 1 and behavior number 2. So what Swish pattern does is that neurotically in your brain, what Swish pattern does is that it replaces this behavior. Okay. So in the previous therapy called as scramble, you manipulated the entire sequence into a different kind of a sequence. But here, you tell your brain very clearly that this is how I am supposed to respond every time whenever I am confronted with this particular person. In this example, at least, I would like to say, right? Okay, so this man, if he is undergoing Swish pattern therapy, he will exercise his mind to understand that hereafter or henceforth, to my daughter, I must be behaving in this manner. So he has to have a portrayal, a design, and that has to be instilled into his brain.
Behavior number 1, in the background picture. Behavior number 2, in the background picture. In the red and the green. First now, ஒரு diamond green color கொடுத்து பாருங்க நான் சொன்ன ஞாபகம். அது Swish pattern உடைய foundation. Color distinction Swish pattern கண்டிப்பா நீங்க கொண்டு வந்தே ஆகும். அப்ப என்ன அர்த்தம்? உங்க மைண்ட்ல வந்து கான்சென்ட்ரேஷன்ங்கிற பவரை நீ என்ஹான்ஸ் பண்ணி தான் உங்களுக்கு வேற வழியே இல்லை. சார் கண்ண முன்னா ப்ளூ கலர் தெரியும் சார், ப்ரௌன் கலர் தெரியும் சார், ஆனா அந்த 2 மட்டும் வர மாட்டேங்குது சார் அப்படின்னா நீ குழப்பவாதின்னு அர்த்தம். உனக்கு அவ்வளவு குழப்பம் இருக்கு மனசுல. கண்ண மூணோட கண்ணா ரெட் கலர்ல ஒரு பெரிய பிக்சர் பாரு அப்படின்னா பாயிண்ட் சார் ஐ ஏபிள் டு see the red அப்படின்னா that's good. ஆனா அவங்க எல்லாருக்கும் திறமை இருக்கு. ஏன்னா Swish pattern நம்ம வேண்டாம்னு நினைக்கிற அந்த பிஹேவியர் ரெட் கலர்ல வைக்கணும். பிகாஸ் பிரெயின் நியூரான்ஸ் உடைய சின்டாக்ஸ் படி according to the human race brain neuron science, brain neurons understand that red is negative. Human race brain neurons understand that green is positive. Natural அப்படிதானே? Green signal yes, red signal no. அதானே? அது எங்கிருந்து வந்துச்சு? Human race உடைய basic brain fundamental. Red backgroundல எனக்கு வேண்டாத அந்த விஷயம்.
So there you go, you have this kind of a tendency of switching the pictures, right? So this is swiveling around of pictures from behavior 1 to behavior 2, behavior 2 to behavior 1, likewise. So let us see in the reference of this particular example where the father has shouted on at his daughter and the daughter was very much upset. So now, how Swish pattern has been done Before I give you step-by-step explanation about how Swish pattern has been done, let me first of all give you an outline. Okay, right? So this is a kind of a meditation. Any therapy is like a meditation. So when you put your mind on a conscious basis, and when you take your mind to a conscious, from the conscious level to an alpha level or a theta level, it is definitely going to respond on a proper basis. That's why we always suggest to the clients that when they are going to sleep, they are supposed to have good deeds and thoughts before they retire from the day. So likewise, once we put the person into a self-hypnosis mode, and then the person gets into the calm level, and the brain level is being condensed, and it is either brought to the alpha level or theta level, and then we make the person see a couple of scenarios. As far as this man is concerned, when the person is seeing a red picture and the person is distinctively recognizing the other behavior with a new form of green picture. Let's say, for example, the behavior number 1, the angered face in red picture, and the behavior number 2, the smiley face, being nice, and that's in the green picture. So this is where Swish pattern gets more crucial. This father has to replace the red picture with the green picture. This man has to replicate the mind that this kind of a behavior is something that I am moving away from. This kind of a behavior is something that I would like to embrace. Now let's see how Swish pattern can be demonstrated. An individual can bring magnanimous difference in his behavior, and the habits can be changed by virtue of using the Swish pattern. When you have a habit that should be changed, or a behavior that should be transformed into a positive one, then Swish pattern is the ready solution for you. Now I'm going to show you how this Swish pattern can be used on a regular basis. If you are spending almost about 10 minutes or 15 minutes per day, you can try to bring certain level of change in your behavior.
Daddy, can I please talk to you?
How many times have I told you not to come in here when I'm busy? Now, will you please just get out of here?
Daddy, can I please talk to you?
Look, sweetheart, give Daddy 5 minutes to finish up in here, and then I'll give you all the time you want, okay?
So now what this man does is, he sees the behavior that has to be changed in the red background, and the behavior that he wants to have in the green background. On the screen you can see. Now this man has to imagine that the green has to get enlarged and break the red background picture. The green gets enlarged and it is zoomed in and it breaks the red background. This has to be done in the mind. The person has to imagine as if the red background, the old behavior, is being shattered and replaced by the new behavior, which is in the green background. This switching is called as a Swish pattern, and this has to be done for about 10 to 15 times. Identify when you are able to do this on a regular basis, you will be able to change your behavior, like this man does. And again, for the sake of better understanding, I would like to repeat the steps. First, you have to imagine the behavior that has to be changed in the red background in the mind. And second, you have to imagine that the behavior, the new behavior that has to be replaced in the green background. And all you have to do is, you have to imagine by bringing your palm very close to the face and imagining that the green background replaces the red background. The new behavior replaces the old behavior. So this is called a Swish pattern. We all have behaviors to be changed. We all have transformation to be done in our minds. Leadership is all about bringing new forms of behavior and erasing the old forms of behavior.
The idea என்னன்னா அந்த green color picture பெருசு படுத்தி red color picture உடைக்க வைக்கணும். Green has to enlarge and it has to break the red. Green வந்து எங்க actual நான் எதிர்பார்க்கிற desired behavior. Red வந்து எனக்கு வேண்டாம், எனக்கு பயங்கர தொல்லை கொடுக்குற அந்த behavior.
So on that connotation, Step number one is the person has to sit very calm and the person has to get into the self-hypnosis mode. And step number two, the person has to see the behavior that has to be changed in the red background into his mind's eye. And step number three, my dear friends, that's very, very crucial. The person has to extend the hand like this, the right hand like this. And he has to imagine as if the green picture, that is the behavior number two, that is going to be synthesized as a new form of a behavior, he has to imagine that as if it is in the palm. Alright? It's a crazy stuff, but still, if you listen to it, you will understand the vitality of it. And then step number four is when the person is ready with the green picture into the hand and with the red picture onto the mind, the person has to swish. Okay? So swish, bring it, and the green has to get enlarged, and it has to come and break the red. Okay? Green enlarges, comes and breaks red. Green enlarges, comes and breaks red. Just like what you're seeing here.
So when you do this, sir, this appears to be very clumsy to me. I cannot go and sit in a separate room and I cannot do it like this, keep on doing like this. People might be thinking very crazy. Fine. So if that's the case, just sit and see that the green image comes and blasts the red. And you have to do it for 15 times. The reason why it is called as a swish is you are switching from the red to green. That's why it is called a swish pattern. Okay? So the red image is the thing that you want to change. The green image is the thing that you want to have. So this swish pattern. Now, finish the first therapy. You have any questions? Frequently asked questions. Question number one, sir, when can we do this? We should do in the morning and you shall do in the evening as well. But doing in the morning is very, very important. Frequently asked question number two, sir, if let's say for example, I am using this for one weakness, how long can I use for one weakness? I got two weaknesses. Weakness number one, I'm a short-tempered person. Weakness number two, I got some fear. How long can I use? For one weakness, you have to use it for 1 full month. As the saying goes, a task, in order to get converted as a habit, it takes almost about 25 days. The rule of 21. You have heard about rule of 21 in psychology. It takes 21 days for a task to get habitualized into your pattern.
The green colored screen gets enlarged and it comes and breaks the red screen. The green colored screen gets enlarged and comes and breaks the red screen. That is the smiley, nicer kind of his face gets enlarged and it clearly comes and breaks the angered face which is in the red background. So, this is a very nicer and simpler solution, right? So if you have any problem as far as a behavior just like this man had, all you have to do is the same. Identify the red picture behavior. Well, Mr. Manikandan, I've got plenty and plenty of it. Understand, we shall go one by one. Don't worry, we can definitely have a fix on all that, but one by one. Yeah, as the man is shown in this video, even I have this anger management issues. Fine, then welcome to the Swish pattern world. You are supposed to do this at least for the next 30 days. So, step number one is identify for which you are going to do this. Just like in the scramble pattern, Swish pattern also identify which behavior you want to change, which behavior you want to improve. There are plenty of things. I don't know which has to be chosen. Don't worry, whichever that is harassing you most, choose it. Let's say for example, 2 days back I had a counseling. A person was very much scared of the darkness. Okay, so it's a phobia. So that person can do Swish pattern for getting out of that phobia against the darkness. Likewise, you must be having something. Alright, so choose that one. Choose that one. And then the next thing that you're supposed to choose is the improvised form of yours. If you don't have that behavior, how will you be? Going back to the example of this angered father, if he's not angry, how would he be? He will be very smiling, he will be very nicer, he will be very comfy with the daughter, right? So likewise, how would you look or how would you feel if you don't have this particular behavior, right? So that is the next thing you are supposed to choose. Now we have two distinctive pictures. This is behavior number one, which has to be changed, and this is behavior number two, which has to be influenced as a new one. So yes, you're right. The behavior number one in the red background, the behavior number two in the green background. So the green background has to be in a very short form, while the red background is in just kind of a 70 mm mega size of a portrayal. So the green has to get enlarged and break the red. Okay, forget about the example. It is between you and me. It is for you. The solution is for you. Now, in a fresh morning, early morning between 4 a.m. and 7 a.m., anytime in this 3 hour span, just get relaxed and sit in a calm place. Close your eyes. Okay, so first of all, get that behavior that you want to change. Behavior number one. Behavior number one is the behavior that you want to change. Behavior number one is the behavior that is harassing you. And then the next step is lewd as seeing that particular behavior number one as I mentioned now in the red background. And then comes the most important step that you are supposed to take. That is, see the transformed new behavior, the behavior that you want to infringe. Extend your hand like this and just see this form of new behavior in a green. I mean, just have a visualization as if there is a green screen, and that green screen contains this new form of behavior, that is behavior number two. Okay, and after a while, make the first swish. Okay. Anyhow, I'm going to give you the voice guidance. So all you have to do is, when I say, let us make a swish, in that hypnotic voice, when I say, let us make the swish, when I say swish, what you're supposed to do is bring the palm, having a creative visualization that the green screen comes and breaks the red screen. Green screen comes and breaks the red screen. Again, I will say swish, done. Again, I will say swish, done. If you are finding it so much delicate to do this kind of a physiological gesture, fine. Then just imagine as if you are doing this in your mind's eye. At least to that level you can do, right? So if you are feeling it so much weird to do this quite often, just imagine as if the green is coming and breaking. But physiology breeds psychology, so you will find it so much convenient to get into a transformed result if you are doing like this. But however, I leave the choice to you. So you can make a proper decision as to whether you are doing this or just having your imagination into your mind. So we are making about 5 to 6 swish. Sometimes in a regular session I would make 15 swish to the candidates, and the candidates will properly respond. Whenever I'm asking them to swish, they will do this on a stretch basis to 15 times. And then I will dehypnotize them. I will count from 1 to 10 and then they will open their eyes. So this is what you are supposed to do for getting out of a behavior lapse. This is called a swish pattern. All right. Remember, green and red pictures are very, very valid and very, very vital in this particular therapy. And if you're practicing this swish therapy without any sort of break for the next 30 days, you're definitely going to see a transformed results. And after that, you can use the same therapy for your subsequent weakness. Okay, right? So first do this with a very big weakness, see how it works, and then go for the subsequent weakness. And if you've got any clarification on this swish pattern therapy, just contact me. I'm just one click away. I definitely try to give the solution that you're looking for. All right. So this is called a swish pattern, and I want you to use this on a consistent basis. Meet you with the next video. Thank you so much.